Hey everyone, it's been a long time. I don't know why I decided to bring this back. I also don't really know why I stopped. I have a couple ideas and we'll jump right into them. I think that when I was doing this podcast, I kept thinking to myself, what's the point of it? I never set out to really obtain a goal when I first started recording. I think it was more one of my million hobbies, I guess. I think back to the conversations I had when I started telling people like I had a podcast and asking people to come on it. The goal was to reconnect with people I haven't seen in a while, talk to in a while. And I think I accomplished that. I think I had some great conversations. And I want to continue doing that. I think that as I progress, definitely want to bring people back on. I wanted to give this solo podcasting a shot. And I can tell you from the first 2 minutes, it's pretty weird, but that's okay. It's okay to be weird. I thought a lot about why I was doing it and if it meant anything. And what I've started to realize is that not everything has to mean something. There's a lot of things we do in our lives that have no meaning at all, like sitting down and watching a TV show. Sometimes our work doesn't mean anything. And I think that's okay. I think being okay with a normal Tuesday takes a lot of mental strength. And it took me a long time to realize that. I used to fill my days with things just to fill my days with things, and I still do. I'll use today as an example. Um, we're at IKEA shopping for things for the studio, and I was stressed about it. I'm like, what's the point of this? The point of it was that it brings some joy, I guess. Um, Speaking of the studio, I'm currently sitting in my mom's basement in a closet, and yeah, I didn't think I'd be here. Um, Ever again. Me and my friends used to record down here back in high school, maybe 15 years ago now, and it looked vastly different. But I haven't had a space for myself in a while. We moved back down here, trying to get our life together, and we're doing it, and we're enjoying it. Trying to be financially responsible, I guess. But I was on the phone with one of my friends, Ama, and I was like, you know what? I need something that has no purpose, essentially, but I enjoy. And this kind of ties back to my first thought of what this show is about. I don't think it's about anything. It's currently 1 in the morning on a Saturday night, and I'm doing this. And the only benefit is that I did it. Um, but I don't think that's something to undermine in your life. Sometimes just doing the thing, whatever the fuck the thing is, could mean a lot to you. And it's not until you do it that you realize it. I'm getting fucking philosophical, and it's only been 5 minutes. Another reason I brought it back is that people were asking me, and people actually enjoyed it. And when I say people, I mean like 3 people. But that's pretty that's pretty cool if you think about it. I've always said, you know, if you can impact one person, it's all that matters. And I'm looking at fucking outline. I should instead of just talking. But I used to wholeheartedly believe that. I used to wholeheartedly believe that if I can help one person, that I did enough or I did my job. And I think I've helped more than one person in my life. And I think I've learned how to be a good friend, and a good person. And that might sound egotistical or self-serving, but ultimately, what the fuck is the point of life if you're just out here just doing shit that doesn't really impact anyone? And if those three people want to listen to me talk into a mic, that's a fucking dangerous thing. But they can talk to me without a mic, and it's pretty much the same thing. And that kind of goes to, the whole mental health thing. And you'll see, whether you know me or you don't, whether you've listened to past episodes or you haven't, I strongly believe, and I can probably label myself as a mental health advocate. That sounds super fucking political, but it is what it is. And particularly a men's mental health advocate. And the reason that I think I can qualify myself as such is that I have been through what I would consider hell and back in my head. I don't shy away from saying that I've had anxiety and depression in the past. I don't shy away from the fact that it's not necessarily the past. It could be any given day. But you work through it and you talk to the right people and you work on yourself. And it's funny because I didn't know what the fuck that meant. I had no idea what it meant to make progress and to work out your brain. But when you start to look at yourself and talk to yourself and realize that some of the things that you didn't believe were true about yourself are really fucking true, it's one of the scariest things in the world. And there's no diagnosis for it. It wasn't like I could label myself as a narcissist, as a sociopath, as any other mental health term that, comes to mind. I think I was just in the way of myself. And what I mean by that is I wanted to move forward, but I wouldn't allow myself to move forward. Whether it was the past or worrying about the future, the only thing I knew is that I was never really present. And that affected a lot of people, including myself. And it takes some selfishness to get past that. It takes some time with yourself. It takes saying no to certain things. It takes realizing what your social battery is and when to take a step back and to really just focus on yourself. Surprisingly, golf is one of the ways that I learned how to be with myself. Um, I picked it up about 2 years ago, and there's something about being on a golf course in the middle of the day, whether it's by yourself, with friends, or with strangers, and just kind of being focused on those 4 hours and nothing else. And there was nothing really else out there that could calm my mind like that. If I was going to read a book, I'd probably put it down every 5 minutes and check my phone. If I was going to watch a TV show, I'd probably have YouTube playing on my phone, Googling some random shit. And in a way, podcasting is one of those things. I can't really be on my phone right now because I'm talking to you fuckers, and a lot of people can't do that. And I would be lying if I said that there's nothing going on in my head right now besides talking to this camera, into this microphone, but I'm doing it. That's progress. That's mental strength. That's working your brain out, right? And I think more people need to do it. And I think that my experiences have lended me to this opinion that a lot of people have more problems than they present. And I think that's okay. But if you don't deal with them, you become a version of yourself that you won't be able to recognize. And I became a version of myself that I didn't recognize. I lost my confidence. I lost my self-belief. I lost enjoyment in things that I used to love. I didn't want to partake in certain activities. And that's pretty fucking depressing. But now I'm in a position to where I recognize that if I don't want to do certain things, it's not because I'm depressed or because I'm anxious. I might just need a break. I might just not need to hang out with that person that day, or to run an errand for somebody, or to be fucking productive. Sometimes I'm just not productive, and that's okay. And I used to beat myself up really badly if I wasn't productive, if I wasn't moving the needle forward, or if I wasn't in the position that I thought I would be X months from now or X years from now. It doesn't mean I lost my ambition. It doesn't mean that I don't have goals, but I just slowed down the clock. And I had time anxiety. I used to think that certain things needed to be done at a certain age. And I think the last time I talked to you guys, I was 28 or 29 years old. And now I'm turning 32 in a couple months. And that used to scare me, but now I'm just 32. And I'd be lying if I said I haven't changed much, but at my core, I'm still the same person. The only difference is that I know who I am now, and I know that person can still change. And I might not be who I am today as I will be in a year or 2 or 3. And I also know for a fucking fact that I don't know it all, and I may never know it all. But if you can live with that, you can live with anything. Pretty fucking philosophical again. So yeah, that's why I stopped. I didn't believe in this anymore for whatever reason. I didn't think it was important. I didn't have the energy to do it. Didn't understand it. And I still don't. I don't know what the fuck this is. But what I do know is that a couple weeks ago, I was on a phone call and I said, I think I want to get my podcast up again. And instead of waiting another fucking year, I cleared out this room. I bought a bunch of shit. I dug up a lot of my personal items that mean something to me. I put them up on a wall. I set up the microphone and I'm sitting here and I'm talking. And that's pretty fucking cool. My therapist asked me if I was proud of myself or what I'm proud of. And I couldn't answer the question. And I don't know if a lot of people could answer that question. Again, it might sound self-serving. I can list out a number of things if I really thought about them. And it's even hard for me right now to share over this mic those things that I'm proud of. But I can answer that I am proud of myself. To get to where I'm at from where I was mentally isn't a small feat. And there wasn't something that I can point to and say, yeah, that was when I did it, right? It's it's a day by day kind of thing, right? And I might have said this before, but something that I always kind of think of is something May used to say to me when I was having a bad day was, it's just a bad day. It's not a bad week. It's not a bad month. It's not a bad year. And it's not a bad life. And it rings true. I've had plenty of bad days on the journey to whoever the fuck I am right now or whatever the fuck I am. I've had losses, both literally from a death perspective. I've had losses figuratively from a friendship perspective. I've had losses from a financial, a career, a relationship level. But instead of letting those things determine who I am, I use these mental tools and exercises to recognize that those things are just a moment in time. And if you can get back to your baseline, it makes it a hell of a lot easier. So if you're stressed, you sit there and you just ask yourself, what the fuck can I do about it? And if there's nothing, then you just sit in the fucking shit and you deal with it, because it will not last forever. And if there's something, then you latch onto it and you try it and you fucking pray that it works. But ultimately, and one thing I've always believed in, at the end of the day, no matter what struggle you're facing, everything's going to be okay. Even if you don't believe it, everything's going to be just fucking fine. And I'm living proof of that. There was days where I was like, I'd rather be fucking dead than feel how I feel. And today I laughed and I smiled and I had a good time and I had ice cream and everything was just fucking fine. I was supposed to record this episode probably a week ago, but I wanted everything to be perfect. And I don't even know what that means. I wanted the wiring to be perfect and the mic to be in the right spot, and I wanted to feel comfortable. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. But if it's a hindrance to moving forward, it starts to become an issue. And as small as that sounds in this instance, where it's like you're just fucking recording a podcast that 5 people are going to listen to, you can apply it to a bigger scenario. And what that looks like is if you want a new career or a new relationship, or you want to mend a friendship or move a friendship forward, but you're scared to take those steps because everything isn't aligned perfectly. Your bank account doesn't have the right number. Your resume doesn't have the right experience. Whatever the fuck the hindrance is, it will keep you stagnant as fuck. And I'm, again, a living example of that. I'm applying it to this instance because it's recent, but so many times in my life, I'm like, I'm just gonna wait till the right time. I'm just gonna wait until I get the bonus. I'm gonna wait until that person comes and talks to me. I'm gonna wait until X, Y, and Z, right? But if you keep doing that, nothing's going to fucking happen. And if that happens again, I think you're gonna look at yourself and you're just not gonna like the person that you are. And if you don't like the person that you are, the odds are pretty high that a lot of people probably won't like who you are. My old therapist, good dude, we spent, you know, more than a year together, I think. After a bunch of sessions, he's like, I think I know what the issue is. And he just told me straight up that he doesn't think I love myself. And when somebody tells you that, it kind of punches you right in the gut, because if it's true, it's a really scary place to be. And I can tell you that I not only didn't love myself, I really fucking hated myself. I didn't like what I became. I didn't like how I felt. I didn't like where I was at in my life. Um, but I worked every single day to get to a point where I loved myself. And I'm still working to that point. I can't wholeheartedly say that I love myself right now, but I can say I like the progress that I made. Um, and in uncovering why I don't love myself, I was having a conversation with May, and I kind of went off on one of my very depressing one track mind rants. And it ultimately came down to I haven't accomplished anything. And I truly believe that. I felt for the last 5 or 6 years that not much has changed in certain regards. I think that I undermined my progress from a mental health perspective. I could probably hang my hat on that today, where I could really say that's something that, I accomplished and I should be proud of. But in other regards, I felt like I failed at everything. And I felt that everything I tried, I fell short on, or I gave up on, or I just wasn't good enough at. This podcast was an example, but I kind of gave myself an out when I first started it, in the sense that I didn't attach any value to it. I didn't say that it's going to make me money. I didn't say I was going to get a number of subscribers or listens. I gave myself a failsafe, right? Like, I gave myself an out. I said, if I don't accomplish this or I quit it, I told myself before that I was going to quit it. And I knew I was going to quit it. I knew I wasn't going to continue doing it. It was just a matter of time. So when it happened, I wasn't super upset about it. But there was always this thing in the back of my mind, like, why not just keep going with it? And here we are. And maybe this will be the only episode you guys get for the rest of my life. And maybe you'll get 1,000 more. But going back to the topic of like unfolding why I didn't love myself, I was like, I need something tangible. I need something that I can see results in. And I think I finally have something. I was working out pretty heavily last year, and then a bunch of life changes happened. We moved. We were trying to get some things settled, and I kind of stopped going to the gym for like 3 or 4 months, and I was really down on myself about it. I was like very, very fucking mean to myself about it, actually. But I asked myself, what the fuck are you gonna do about it, bro? And this isn't some David Goggins shit, right? But ultimately, it came down to like, I'm gonna start, and I'm not gonna stop. And I started last August, and I haven't stopped since. And I lost a few pounds, but the number doesn't matter. The way I look doesn't really matter either. What matters is that I've consistently done something that I said I'm going to do, and I've enjoyed it along the way. And that second piece is so much fucking more valuable than the first. You can be consistent at being a piece of shit. You could be consistent at being a bad friend. You can be consistent at being a bad son, brother, husband, whatever the fuck you want to put in there. You can be consistently bad at it. But if you're doing something wrong and you're consistent at it, you're not going to enjoy it. It's that enjoyment that really fulfills that consistency, and it makes you feel like, holy fuck, I just accomplished something that I said I'm going to do, and that's good for me or good for somebody else or good for something. And yeah, I guess I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the progress that I've made, and I'm looking forward to continue doing that. Um, and I just want to be bigger than my friends. I just want to be fucking jacked, Just fucking walk down the beach and just be. All right, well, I got disconnected. Um, I guess that's what I was talking about earlier, that everything can't be perfect, but we're back. Um, what I was saying before is I want to be bigger than all my fucking friends. I want to be jacked, especially my little brother. He's fucking 18, and for some reason he's lifting the same amount of weight as me. I can still beat his ass. So I talked about why I stopped. I talked about kind of mental health throughout, and that'll probably continue. Um, maybe it's my MO, maybe it's what I hang my hat on, but it's an everyday fucking battle. Especially if you've been in the trenches. It's something that you have to just kind of keep working on. It's cool to be functioning human uh, in society, and to be a decent person, and to feel like you have the will to live. But I think it'll just continue. And I know for a fact that it's something every day that I have to push through. One topic I wanted to discuss was kind of this idea of friendship and what it means. It's always something that's been important to me. What comes along with friendships is work. And if you put in the work, those friendships can be very bountiful. Um, they can really move the needle forward. They can help you become who you want to be. And the opposite can be true as well, is that you can't press the issue too much. And what I mean by that is you can't force somebody to be your friend. But one thing that I truly believe is that nobody can hurt me. And the reason I say that, whether good or bad, is my life experiences shape that mindset. Um, my biological dad moved to another state when I was 5 years old. He left my life. And that's something that I had to deal with as a teenager, a young adult, and now officially as an adult. If a person chooses to leave your life, that is their choice. And sometimes you just have to fucking accept it for what it is. You may not understand it. You may be hurt by it, but it is what it fucking is. I wasn't really hurt by the friendships I lost. And this isn't always true, but in hindsight, it adds more to your life in the sense that you have time, focus on the friendships that actually do fulfill you and that actually do help you move forward and progress. Because if we face the reality, we don't have enough capacity, whether it's time for mental or social, to appease and to garner these relationships. I just want to say that the people that fuck with you for a reason, and lean into that and appreciate them. And I appreciate the fuck out of my friends. And those types of friendships where you get on a call and you're ready to run through a fucking brick wall after, are the ones that will get you to the place that you need to fucking be. The friendships where you leave the hangout session or the phone call or whatever the fuck it is that you're doing, and you feel worse about yourself, or you feel more tired or less motivated, are the ones that you really need to look at. And that's all I'll say on that. So, I don't know if this is season 2. I don't know what episode this is. I don't think I really fucking care. Um, if I enjoy doing this, I'm gonna keep doing it. I look forward to having a few people on this podcast that I've been excited to talk to, kind of in this setting for a while. But yeah, that is what I've been up to.